This video will show you how to crochet these cute boot sock toppers, and what's especially fun is on the top of them there's this really adorable little raspberry bobble stitch that ornaments the top of the boot sock with a scalloped edge on top of that. So here we go. I used Red Heart, just regular yarn. This is a beige color, and a size H crochet hook. So you'll first want to chain 21, one, two, three, 4, 5, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now we're going to do double crochet, so I'll skip those 2 chain stitches from the hook and work a double crochet in the 1, 2, 3, the third chain from the hook, and I'll double crochet in every chain stitch after that, and we'll work it to the end and we'll go from there. I'm just finishing this first row of double crochets. Here's the last one. And now I'll chain 2. 1, 2, turn it. Now in the 1, 2, 3, the third chain or the third stitch, I'm going to pick up the half of this top of the stitch that's farther away from me and work another double crochet, always picking up the half that is away from you. And we'll do that with all the rows. It kind of gives the sock ridges that I think look really cute. Now as you're working all these rows and it's just repeating this row after row, you'll want to have or be able to count 20 posts. So as you're working your rows, you might want to count once in a while to make sure there's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you count along, and there's should be 20, and that includes this I guess we'll call it post of the chain stitches, the 2 chain stitches that you'll do at the beginning of each row. These 2 boot toppers that I did, I crocheted 22 rows. I like to do an even amount of rows so that when I'm done, the yarn ends are on the same side, and it makes it easier to do a square knot. And the amount of rows that you do, like I said, these 2 boot toppers have 22 rows. You'll decide, you can kind of measure it on yourself as you go along. You may need it to be more narrow than this, maybe wider, and it also depends if you've got high or tall boots. So they'll be on your upper calf as opposed to your lower calf, which is usually smaller than your upper calf, so that's going to determine how many rows you do also. So I'm going to work quite a few rows, probably around 20 rows, because I think this set of boot toppers that I'm working right now will be for shorter boots. Okay, I got to the end of the row, so remember to chain 2, turn it, and work double crochets 1, 2, 3, third from the hook on the back half of the top of the previous double crochets. Back half. I'm going to get up closer so you can see. Don't want to pick up this front one that's closest to me. I want to pick up the one that's farther away from me. Just one of the loops, not both of them, like I usually do in more projects. You're usually picking up both of the loops, but just pick up the back loop, the one that's farther away, and work. Like I said, I'm going to do 20. If you've got really slender legs, you may need to do less than that. You just want to measure, like I said, as you go along. And then we'll pick it up again from that point. I'm just finishing up the 20th row of double crochets. I'm picking up those back part of the stitch. Here's the last one. Now when you finish your last row, I'm just going to do 20, so I'm going to finish with 1 chain stitch. Then I'll fold this in half and put this in. I'm going to put it in the front this time instead of the back. This is just to do a seam. And then I'm going to pick up on the other side this last chain stitch that we started with. Then I'm going to slip stitch through all of those. I'm going to pick up, let's see if we can get a closer view of this, the front instead of the back of this row, and then I'm going to pick up on the other side just part of the beginning chain stitch and pull the yarn through all 3 with a slip stitch. Front part of this side, and then the next part of the chain stitch that we started with, front of that, next chain, and slip. So I'll work a slip stitch across that to seam it together. Okay, I'm almost to the end. I only have a couple more to slip stitch together. Here's the last one. Like that. After we're done doing our slip stitches, I'm going to just do 1 chain stitch, and now along this edge, tap that yarn end right there, along this edge, this will be our top edge, I'm going to work a single crochet around this edge, and I'm going to place each single crochet in this order. I'm going to put one in the middle of each one of these rows in the post, and then in between each of the double crochet rows. And what I want to do is I don't want to put it around the whole post because it kind of makes too big of a gap on that edge. So I'm just going to stick in the middle of this post, just going to try and pick up 1 or 2 pieces of yarn and break up that post. Here's the first single crochet that's in the middle, kind of. Now I'll do another single crochet in between, picking up one or 2 pieces of the yarn. Now I need to do one in the middle of this post, or double crochet stitch, whichever you want to call it. And now there's this piece of yarn right here, but I kind of want to close it up, so I'm going to pick up another one over here to kind of pull that big gap shut like that. Now another one in the middle of this double crochet or post. This is not the funnest part of this project because there's no rhyme or reason to it, but it doesn't take too long to go around it. So just remember to do one single crochet in the middle of the post, and don't go all the way around it. Pick up just a couple of the yarn strands and then in between. So again, I'll put one here, 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 so on. Okay, I'm almost around. Here's where I started, so I'm going to do in the middle of this double crochet, do a single crochet, and then I'll do one more in between, and I'm going to slip stitch right here in my first single crochet that I worked. Now I'll do another a chain stitch, just one, and then we're going to work these raspberry or bobble stitches, and to do that I want each one to be right here, kind of in the valley part. Here's where the rows stick out, so in between where the row goes down, that's where I want. At the top of that, here's a stitch, a single crochet, and here's one. So that's where I'm going to work each one of the bobbles or the raspberry stitch. So there is one stitch right here before I get to it that I'll do a single crochet, and now here is the stitch that's on the top of this groove, and so I will do a bobble or raspberry stitch there. And the way you do it is you'll pretend like you're doing a double crochet. You just won't finish it. You'll pull the yarn through but leave two of the loops on the hook. Now I'm going to do another almost double crochet, pull it through. Now pull it through the first two loops, and now I've got three. I'm not going to finish it. Yarn over, pull through the first two loops on your hook, leave it, do another one, part of a double crochet, pull through the first two loops, and now I have 5 loops on my hook, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 loops on the, 5 loops, yarn over, pull it through all of those. Pull it tight, and then in the next 3 stitches I'm going to work a single crochet. So here's 1, 2, 3. Now I'll poke out that little bobble, it's so cute. Now in this one we'll work another bobble, and so you'll yarn over like you're going to do a double crochet, put it through both of the both loops, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through the first 2. Now I have 2 stitches and I've worked 1 partial double crochet. You'll do 4 partial double crochets. So there's the first one, here's the second one, here's the third one, always just pulling through the first 2 loops. There's the fourth one. After you do 4, it leaves 5 loops on your hook, so that will be your cue to yarn over and pull through all 5. Pull it tight, and then in the next 3 stitches work a single crochet. And some of them you just need to poke through a little bit so that they're not going in toward the boot sock. I have one more raspberry or bobble stitch to do. I've done 3 single crochets before I get back to where I started. There's 1, 2, here's the 3rd partial, and the 4th partial double crochet. Pull it through all 5, tighten it up, do a single crochet, and a single crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch right in here. Now I'm also going to then slip stitch in the top of this first bobble that I did. It's right here, and I'm going to pick up both those loops with this slip stitch. And on the top of each bobble, there's kind of a long, the 2 loops are kind of elongated, and that's where I'll always do a slip stitch, and then there's 3 in between. 1, 2, 3, and in the middle one I'm going to work, oops, not a double, 1 single crochet, and it's all in this middle stitch. It's above where we've got this kind of this ridge right here. It's the stitch right above that, and in each one of those, this one and this one and this one, right in between each bobble, I'll work a single crochet, then 3 doubles, this is all in the same stitch, 3 double crochets, and then another single crochet. So here's my 2nd double, here's the 3rd double, all in the same stitch, and now a single. So you'll have 5 stitches in that one space right there, single crochet, 3 doubles, and a single. Now in that top of the bobble, I'll do that slip stitch, and then I'm just going to repeat the same thing all the way around for the scallops. So here's the middle between the 2 bobbles, top of the ridge right here. I'm going to work a single, oops, 3 doubles, 2, 3, and then a single. Slip stitch in the top of this next bobble and keep going around the top, and it will be so pretty. I just worked a slip stitch in the top of that bobble, and I'm going to do the last scallop right now. Single crochet, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and a single in the same stitch. Now I'm going to slip stitch right here. Oops, where I started. And cut the end, pull that through, then pull it tight. Now on the inside, I'm going to weave this stitch down toward this yarn tail, and it's easier if you use a smaller size hook for this weaving in part, but I didn't get one, so I'm still using this size H. Okay, now they're closer together. I'm just going to tie a square knot in these like so. Now I'll take these 2 yarn ends and weave them in a little bit. So I'll just pull both ends in, weave down. There are a couple more stitches before I trim them even with the boot sock topper, like that. Flush, like that. And it's all done. So cute. Now you just need to make a second one to match, because one would be kind of silly.